Good morning, everybody. I wanted to give you a quick update on our ladies. I noticed the other day that our Single Comb Leghorn had some discoloration in her comb. It was very pale, whitish almost. And this morning I came out and the tips of the comb are turning black, which means she has received some frostbite. It's not anything that the chicken will die from, and I noticed a little bit on her wattles too, which are the flaps of skin that hang down under the neck. That sometimes occurs on birds with larger wattles. When they're drinking, they'll get drippings from the water on their wattles. It'll freeze, cause frostbite. But the comb, I was kind of worried this might happen with this particular chicken. She's got a larger comb than any of the other birds, and the larger the comb, the more susceptible they are to frostbite. This bird is classified as a cold hardy bird, but they have large wattles and combs. So, worst case scenario, the dead skin, the dead flesh will fall off and heal over. Best case scenario, the dead black skin will flake off and there'll be fresh new skin below it. So what I think might be happening is inside the coop here, there was quite a bit of droppings built up in this corner back here. A lot of them like to roost up on this bar. So they produce droppings throughout the night, and those droppings release a lot of moisture into the air. Chickens also produce a lot of moisture just by breathing in here, and that moisture can increase their chances of getting frostbite in the night when it's super cold. So if you remember from an earlier video, I had these propped open for the summertime. I could prop them like that far, and then when closed they'd be this far to still allow ventilation. And then I got worried that it was letting too much ventilation through and it was too drafty and the girls were going to get too cold. So I removed my wedges that were in here and just let them hang down basically flush with the side of the coop. But we still maintained this big opening in the bottom of the floor. I thought that'd be enough ventilation to keep the moisture outside of the coop. I'm not sure that is the case. Hello. This actually, I walked over to the coop this morning. This is our barred rock, and she was laying an egg in our nesting box. So she is confirmed one of our layers. We have 3 birds laying right now. That's one of the fake eggs down there. See how she's moving it to sit on it? She might be a little broody, but I haven't seen her spending a lot of time up here sitting on any eggs, so that's a good thing. We don't need you to be broody, sweetie. We're not going to be raising any new girls. So what I decided to do is put the wedges back in on this window right here. Right back in there is where the majority of them roost at night. Our prevailing winds come from the west, so I'm hoping that most of the winds get hit on this side of the coop, and this won't be too drafty that way, but it'll still allow some air transfer between the ramp hole and the window, and hopefully circulate some of that moisture out of there and prevent any further frostbite incidents this winter. I also restocked their ash here in their dust bath. This is the first time I've restocked it since fall. They seem to be appreciating that. They've been spending a lot of time around it. When I got the eggs this morning, or egg I should say, there was just one of them, I noticed that it was split, which means it must have been an egg laid later in the day yesterday, and I did not come out and check for eggs before bed, so that egg sat in the nesting box all night, and temperatures must have got pretty cold because it caused the shell to crack and the egg to split open, which I had never seen before, so that's the first time for me. I brought the egg inside and it warmed up, and the pressure decreased inside the egg, so it actually closed and you can barely see the crack anymore. It looks just like a normal egg. So gonna have to use that one pretty quick. Don't want any bacteria or anything getting inside the egg. But I thought that was pretty interesting. So that's my brief update on our layers. As I mentioned, we have about 3 girls laying at this time, so we get about 2 to 3 eggs a day, which is pretty good for being in winter and them not receiving as much sunlight as they normally do in the summer months. They still seem to be laying pretty well. I'll keep you posted on the changes I made to see if that helps with the moisture content build up inside of the coop, and hopefully we don't have any more frostbite issues. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you on the next video. Just kidding. We got our first major snowfall last night, so I wanted to go out and check on the chickens and see how they're doing with the snow. So I figured I'd tack that on to the end of this video. But check this out. Our white Christmas came a little bit late. Looks like the ladies are up. Man, we got a good 8 inches of snow probably. So the original design for this coop had the door swinging inward, but I knew that if we got too much snow, I wouldn't be able to clear that snow out on the inside to push the door in. So I designed it to open outward so that if we get a ton of snow, I can dig it out. Shouldn't be an issue today though. There we go. Voila. Have to plan ahead in this climate. Look at that. Our snow canvas is doing exactly what I wanted it to. Didn't get any drifting snow or anything under their feed station here. Fantastic. Your comb looks about the same. Not any worse, so I guess that's a good thing. How's everyone else looking? Looks like we're missing a bird, which means she must be in the nest box. Let's go check that out. Good morning, beautiful. That's our buff Orpington. She was the first one to start laying eggs. Yeah, hi. I'll let her be, finish laying her egg, and then I'll come back and grab our eggs for the day a little later. Well, everybody seems alright, so I guess keeping this open at least didn't have any negative effects on them. I did notice last night that our Single Comb Brown Leghorn with the frostbite did have some blood coming off the comb. I presume somebody, one of her peers, probably was pecking at her comb. When chickens notice an issue with another chicken, an illness or an injury or something, they'll pick on them, and they can be pretty brutal to one another. That is all blood on our water. She must have been drinking after the fact, after presumably she was attacked by another chicken, and got blood from her comb on the water. They did kick up a ton of leaf litter and debris and stuff up into the water, so I'll probably change this out pretty soon here. and clean that up. But yeah, I don't know. That's part of taking care of chickens. They can be pretty mean to one another, and I don't think it's to the point where we need to separate anybody. But should I notice continual attacks on this one, I might need to pull her out and let her heal up a little bit before I introduce her back to the flock. So yeah, that's how our chickens are doing with our first big snowfall of the year. While I'm out here, I figured I'd come check on our bees, and I've already noticed something pretty interesting here. These are all dead bees. I know there will be some die-off in the winter. There's die-off in the summer too. I mean, bees are like humans. They have a life expectancy and they die eventually. I don't know if this is a normal sight to see this many bees outside of the hive on top of fresh snow, which to me means that these bees, I mean, the snow just stopped early this morning, so these are bees that somehow got out here within the last few hours, most likely. That's interesting. I'll have to talk to Scott about that, see what he thinks. But I want to check on the entrances. I'm just gonna clean this out with my finger here. So we still have a way to get in and out. I sent a video over to Scott, our honeybee mentor, showing him all the bees outside of the hive this morning, and he confirmed that that's normal. After doing some research online too, it looks like on average a colony might lose 1,000 bees a day. That's completely normal. Much fewer die per day in the winter, but it still happens. Having a fresh coat of snow on the ground affords us the ability to see things that we normally don't see in the summer. So by having that white blanket of snow, we can see all the bees that are dead out there, whereas in the summer they blend into the ground cover and you just don't see as many of those dead bees as you do right now with fresh snow. So that puts me a little bit more at ease. It was just kind of startling to see that many bees, like I said, in the last few hours maybe, dead. But apparently that's normal. I know that bees that die inside of the colony, the worker bees will pull those bodies out of the main entrance and drop them off of the landing board on the hive to clean out the hive. But these bees were like feet away from the hive, so they weren't just dumped overboard. They flew out of the hive and then perspired out on the snow somehow. But yeah, that's interesting. Learn something new every day. I guess that's going to conclude this video, so I'll catch you guys later.